Check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Yep. Yes, sir. All right. Whatever salutation you need tonight, you got it. I'm AC. This is AC Sports Live. And we in here. All right, let me get this slate up here. Oh, wow. I need to go ahead and get these other slides out here so I don't lose my spot. Oh, man, I got it on the wrong. It's all good. It's still all good. I have to just make it do. Get this up out of here. 1 2 3. Boom. We all in the house. We doing good. We looking good. Did I get them all? This is what you got to do when you wear many hats. Okay, did I do that? Let me go ahead and undo. I think I erased everything. Okay, I got it back. Delete. And did it again. There we go. All right, there we go. There's my slate. Welcome. My sweet brother Noomsy has forgiven me. A lot on the slate tonight. We have a champion for the first time in 2 years in the NCAA tournament for the women and the men. Mike Staff. Man, I still got to listen to The Time Is Now. I didn't get a chance to today. My son had me running around town, getting ready for a game. Oh yeah, Mike. It's a must. You got to get a video show because you have guests. And most of your guests are easy on the eyes. So you want to showcase that. I will gladly help you get that started, my man Mike. Let's get it in. Yes, that face must be on the screen to match that smooth baritone voice. Get it going, Mike Staff. You slipping, man. More people. You got the podcast thing on lock. You're on every network. Now you gotta come on to the video side, man. Come on to the dark side. Come on over, man. Stanford women, bring it on home. I was pulling for Arizona though. I love Adia Barnes. Baylor's men. Oh my God. Men is the appropriate term. Those were some grown men. I almost feel relieved. Small part of me says I'm kind of glad UCLA lost, because if we played against Baylor after playing against Gonzaga in a possible double overtime, had things gone the way we wanted them to go, well, I would have wished Juzang's in the regulation bucket would have been the end, but then the overtime was just as satisfying until the last shot. But I think Baylor was just different, man. They were supposed to win the previous year before the pandemic. So what we saw Monday night was an accumulation of 2 years of weight room. We're gonna talk about it, man. We're gonna talk about it. Man, I didn't get the chance to finish the show. You been all over town, man. I feel you, man. I mean, today I was driving so long I could not wait to come sit in this cockpit and just get the show going, man. I feel you, man. Those Baylor Bears look like the Monstars from Space Jam 1. It was scary. I felt bad for Gonzaga at first, man. I was like, what they gonna do with these dudes? All right, football, we got some NFL moves. The only move that really jumped out to me was Sam Darnold being traded from the Jets to the Carolina Panthers. So we'll talk about that a little bit. The NCAA, Jackson State lost. High school, we'll go through some scores. My guy, teammate, Bruin teammate, and now the king, the guru of long snapping, in America, and possibly foreign countries that play American football. They'll be hitting him up too. Chris Rubio is going to come through at about 9:30, and we're going to talk some football, talk about some recruiting, talk about his business that's sweeping the whole nation. Him and Chris Saylor, the double Chris squared. They have a lock on the kicking game. Rubio, long snapping. Anybody that wants to know anything about long snapping, finding a long snapper, recruiting one, this is the guy you want to talk to. He'll be with us at 9:30. There's an SI article that I just had to share with you guys. It's about the LA City Section demise. So I'm going to talk about that for a little quick minute. My 2 cents, I got a whole bunch of funny ones that came down my pipeline. Of course, we got to talk about my man Paul Pierce. I think he had a vendetta versus on his own career. Looking at that live, he had to remember who he worked for. The Dodgers are balling. Kelly Oubre said he's not coming off the bench. And my sports flicks, my man Lonnie Grimm shot this one to me. Raymond Lewis, not Ray Lewis of the Baltimore Ravens. Raymond Lewis of Watts, the best LA hooper to never make it. His story was powerful but tragic at the same time. And I'm just going to jump right in. I'm not even sure if I have my intro. That's the 1585 intro. Let's see if I can get my intro before I get started. Take a breather, 5 seconds. Here we go.
You're quite hostile. I got a right to be hostile, man. My people been persecuted.
All right. Here we go. The NCAA. And I'm going to go ladies first. Ladies first. Ooh, ladies first. Ladies first. Turn down this beat. Cut the beat. Cut the beat. What am I talking about? UCLA would have put up a better fight. Better athletes. Let's see. Let's go top to bottom. Our best athletes weren't even playing. Like, from injury and personal reasons. So let's see. Is that a correct statement? Because Gonzaga, besides Suggs and the transfer from Florida, I guess you're right, Mike. We do have more athletes. I never thought of it that way. But our athletes weren't built like the Baylor Bears. Good Lord. I would hate to face that first half amoeba defense. There was nowhere to breathe. There's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. And they kept bringing dudes in. They even had a white dude with a mullet balling at the top of the key. 6'8" with handles. Like, where'd they get this dude? Like, where'd they get those dudes? They had dudes shooting NBA threes. It was crazy. I mean, they had Mitchell and Butler, and they had a brother named Maceo Teague. He looked like one of my cousins with the red hair and the freckles. I can't even describe how good they looked. They looked like UNLV 1990 in that first half. And then they settled down. But let's talk about them ladies first. Them ladies. Them Cardinal up there in Palo Alto. The champs. Who withstood the onslaught. Who withstood the momentum, the grit and grime and hustle of the Arizona Wildcats led by Ari McDonald. Stanford had the poise. They had the horses. If that's not taken the wrong way, that's meant in every good sense of the word. The twins, the Hull twins, the Jones sister with all the hair, the braids. They just had something for everything Arizona threw at them. They had something to counter, and it was just good to watch, man. Good basketball. The last 2 games and the final game were all enjoyable games to watch. I enjoyed the women's Final Four this year. All Pac-12 Final 2. I couldn't lose. I was pulling for Arizona and their coach, but I am not mad because Stanford has always represented the Pac-12 well. They win 54-53. Valiant effort. Shout out to both teams, especially the Arizona coach who did it while her little son was on the side. You know, she's pumping milk, I believe, in between games. Like she's still doing her motherly duties and she's still coaching at a very high level. No excuses. And her husband's on the bench. So I think it was a good look. I think it was a good look for everyone that at the end of the day, it's about family. And that's what Stanford had. They had a very genuine happiness for each other. Russell Wilson's little sister gets a championship. I think that was pretty cool. It was just a dominating performance throughout the tournament for Stanford. They shook off all the haters. They silenced all the naysayers. And they continue to rise to the top. It's a great program. If I had a daughter that played basketball, Stanford would definitely be on the list. And if I look at it now, Arizona will be on that list as well. Jimmy Mack in the house, J Mo in the house. What up, what up? Rodney Sauce in the house, what up? So shout out to the Lady Stanford Cardinal. I'm not even sure if that's the name they go by, but I'm going to go ahead and name them. You have to have a nickname. The Cardinal, it's a tree, right? The Lady Cardinal. When I was young, I used to say Cardinals, like they were a bird, but the Stanford Cardinal of women's basketball are top of the line, #1 in the country. Shout out to the ladies. Now let's get to them dudes. Oh my God. The Baylor Bears. The Bears. Before I get to them, Mike said Pac-12 represented in both men's and women's tournaments. The Pac-12, man, we beat each other up all year. We beat each other up all year, so the tournament is easy. Rodney Sauce said Timmy was intimidated. He didn't want to play. They spooked him. So now you gotta be careful with the words you use, Rod. You can't use spook. When you saw all them brothers hit the court versus all them light skins and the white dudes of Gonzaga, it looked like I saw a meme that tickled my tummy when I saw it. It said Gonzaga is that AAU team that hasn't played that hood team yet. That's exactly what I saw. It was all good about a week ago. I was giggling. I wanted Baylor to beat Gonzaga so bad for what they did at UCLA on Saturday night with that buzzer beater. UCLA should have been in that championship game. We outplayed Gonzaga for 44 minutes into that last bucket by Johnny Juzang, and we took the foot off the gas and let them take the ball down the court scot-free. And Jalen Suggs got to a sweet spot, hit a runaway banker, and broke our hearts. But look what you get when you smile too soon. When you smile too soon, you run into a buzzsaw out of Waco, Texas. Good God. J Mo said the Road Warriors are now the champs. So that's a reference to the Stanford Cardinal who had to travel. I wonder how many miles was it, like 1,700 miles? Was it 3,000 miles? They had to travel because they could not play in Palo Alto. Very much the Road Warriors. It was like a us against the world mentality. And it worked to the very end. Jimmy Mack. James Mack said the Monstars. That's what it looked like, man. And then of course, Gonzaga made it a little bit competitive and got it down to 9. But Baylor was not having it. 9 was as close as you was going to get. It was the East Compton Clovers versus the Rancho Cardi. Like, on Bring It On. Bring it, sister. Oh, I'm going to bring it. It is already brought. Oh, man. It was crazy. It was the light skins and white boys versus the brothers from Compton. It was really that. It was really that. It was really hood ball versus suburban ball. It really, really was. In football, that don't always work. in football, those private schools come in there like when Long Beach Poly played against De La Salle 2001. I was coaching. And we was all hood. Dudes had Converse Chuck Taylor spats on their cleats. We was out there gang banging and throwing up gang signs and acting crazy, having fun. De La Salle was a fine, oiled machine. They had Maurice Jones-Drew sprinkled in there, a couple of brothers sprinkled in there, but the rest of them dudes they're white and Latino, and they were like military, man. They were not intimidated by us one bit. And if we would have had one more quarter, we would have won. But once we figured out they weren't afraid of us anymore, we had to play some ball. We had to coach. We had to call plays. And before you know it, we saw why they won 100 games in a row. They were different. But not last night. Not the case for the Gonzaga Bulldogs. They had to face a team that was clearly stronger than them. I mean, did Baylor do any basketball in the offseason or just lift the weights the whole time? They just lifted weights. Got swole, got grown. Every single one on their team looked like an NBA player. If not NBA player, a WWF R-Truth looking dude playing center. The guards looked like they was doing tricep pull downs before the game. It was crazy, man. Cousin D Strong from Connecticut. We nationwide, y'all. Green and gold usually rises to the top. Hey, I can't argue with that. Yes, sir. That hood team, seeing them AAU boys all season playing bully ball, and then Gonzaga met that real bully. Who did Gonzaga play this year? Because apparently they ain't seen no dudes like these dudes. This was different, man. This was different. My man PT, Paul Tran, my Long Beach Poly UCLA classmate, could not come to the show, but he wanted me to verbally share his thoughts. Now I actually have a picture of my man PT. Where'd it go? All right, so PT is number 24, like Kobe. Bottom left, second from the left. PT, one of the first Asian point guards at Long Beach Poly. One of the first, not the first, one of the first. He said, yo, T, man, please read my comment on the show tonight. I said, I got you. I got you. He says he means this with the ultimate amount of love and respect regarding Baylor and Gonzaga. He says, quote, all black people knew Baylor was going to win. Just like they knew Trump was going to win in 2016. And what I mean by that is white players and white teams have been so overrated for decades, it's not even fun or funny. They talk about Timmy like he's Tim Duncan and not a NBA G Leaguer at best. Thank you, my brother, Paul Trent. Those are some harsh words. Overrated? Who did Gonzaga play? I appreciate that, PT. Hot take. Was Gonzaga overrated or just tired? Whatever. They had to run into that green and gold monster from Space Jam 3. The Baylor Bears. Stanford was fortunate with some bad missed calls. That is the game that people should have been up in arms about. I saw some calls, but this tournament I've seen a lot of whistles swallowed. So again, y'all job's hard enough, Rod. Y'all know Rodney Saucier is an actual ref. He's an actual Division I, college, high school. I believe he's done some pro. He's an official. And he was trying to educate Jimmy, J Mo, Mike Staff, all of us collective podcast viewers, 1585 viewers, on some of the calls we've seen called and not called. I had a hard time with the Juzang call. You call that charge when Timmy moved his whole right side to protect himself. I thought you had to stay stationary and you couldn't flinch. Like, I don't know. But I stopped relying on the referees. I would have done everything possible in my power to beat teams like Baylor beat Gonzaga, but no denying. They weren't bullying to the rack. They were knocking down threes. They had 18 more shot attempts. And that could be attributed to offensive rebounding. So it was just a beatdown, man. And they did what they needed to do to make sure the referees could not play a part in making Gonzaga that once-in-a-lifetime 33-0 team. Instead, you take this L back to Washington. Zags just got busted in the mouth from the start. Busted in the mouth. Mike Tyson said it best. Everybody got a game plan until you get hit in the mouth. Every teacher has a lesson plan, Jimmy. Me and you, until the kids show up. Until little Craig show up. Little Beaumont show up. He ain't going by no lesson plan. Baylor gets their first chip. Stanford adds one more to their total over UCLA as far as national championships. Now, much love, respect to these dudes. The UCLA Bruins Final Four team. From the first four to the Final Four to getting beat by a lucky buzzer beater that he did not call bank on. These guys deserve all the credit in the world for playing the way they played. Very proud of them guys. We won the recruiting battle this tournament. Kids will want to come to UCLA again. Not so sure about North Carolina and Duke, Kansas, but UCLA, one of the original Blue Bloods, is back on the map. So much so, I believe the early tournament predictions have UCLA number 1 in the country. If you can believe that. Let's see if I have my slate. UCLA number 1. This is the way too early poll for next year. If everybody returns, UCLA number 1. Gonzaga's going to lose Jalen Suggs and Timmy. Bama, Duke, Baylor had a few seniors. Ohio State, Florida State, Michigan. Very, very likely we lose Johnny Juzang. But guess who comes in just to slide right into that spot? Peyton Watson, 6'9" wing out of Long Beach Poly. Just as polished as Johnny Juzang. Maybe not as meticulous in getting to his spots, but just as deadly a shooter, a scorer, and he's longer. So even if Johnny Juzang goes pro, we got Peyton Watson, and a very, very small chance we get an early enrollee in Amari Bailey out of Sierra Canyon. So we stack and we get back Smith. I think we're in good shape. Number 1, that's a high ranking, but I will take it. Johnny Yak on the Periscope. My guy. My main man. Man, we got to talk. Johnny Yak, enough respect. Yeshua was a black man. Tell him, Ak. He told me that in 91. Johnny Yak. UCLA needed Riley to convert just a few of those layups, and it's a different game. If Riley dunks that ball, which was to me a foul, but very hard to call in the moment, you should have just dunked the ball. You shouldn't be getting your dunk blocked by behind from a guard. You go up with 2 hands and you flush it. You break that man's wrist. And it's not violence, y'all. It's part of the game. You don't put your hand in there if somebody's going for a two-hand dunk. But Riley got his dunk blocked by Jalen Suggs. So I don't call that foul either. But I think Riley came through like a monster with them 4 jump shots he hit. He hit a Horace Grant and he hit a couple of Cartwrights from the elbow. I am very proud of Riley, man. He played a very good game. Very good game. The way too early poll. Way too early poll. It came out. CBS Sports. It came out. It came out. D Strong know about that long. He's probably back in Connecticut, man. New London. Way back in the East. Peyton is a Durant clone. The kid is so good, Durant comes to watch him play. I'm trying to tell you, man. I'm trying to tell you. And let me turn my Rubio down. My man Chris Rubio's on the deck. He's coming up next. Jackie Robinson joined us nice. Oh, appreciate you, Mac. Appreciate you, Mac. I gotta let you know who my hookup is. And you can be in the Jackie Robinson jersey pool too when the Dodgers open up the stadium for the fans. I heard it's coming soon, man. I heard it's not too far away. I'm not gonna be in a rush to get back to right field to eat them Dodger dogs, but I am happy that it's in the works. I can't lie about that. Very happy. Happy about that. All right, so quickly. Football. The NFL. There's some movement as we wait for this draft to come up. The talk of the town today is Sam Darnold being dealt to the Carolina Panthers. Now, I'm thinking that Teddy Bridgewater is still in Carolina. I'm thinking Teddy Bridgewater is better than Sam Darnold. That's just me. That's just me. Maybe when you play for the Jets, you just look bad. I think Sam Darnold is going to be happy in Carolina. It's not the same doom and gloom of the New York Jets. So he gets a clean slate, in my opinion. Now, you got hope. Whereas the Jets, they're going to continue to make mistakes. Watch the Jets draft somebody that they can't work with. Watch them. Just keep an eye on them Jets, man. Keep an eye on them Jets. They are bound to smoke this off. Bart Scott said something funny. He always says things that are funny to me. This is the same guy who said, can't wait. Bart Scott. Oh, Dodgers won. Squirrel. Dodgers won 5-1. Dodgers are still rolling, y'all. I think we are back on pace to win 117 games. But Bart Scott, formerly of the Baltimore Ravens, I think in numerous teams, the Jets as well, he said, I'm an expert on horrible quarterbacks. I'm going to say it in my Bart Scott voice. I'm an expert on horrible quarterbacks. I know one when I see one. And Sam Darnold is not a horrible quarterback. I've been around enough bums to know. Sam Darnold's a stud, man. We saw him at SC. We saw him too much at SC. He was a stud. It's the Jets, man. It's like my homegirl says, I can't find no good men. Everybody I go out with is a dog. Then maybe you like dogs. You keep attracting dogs. Maybe it's you. The New York Jets, maybe it's you. How about draft some linemen? Get a running game. Quit putting it all on your quarterback to make magic out of nothing. Who's the receiver? Who's the starting receivers for the New York Jets? I can't name one. I can't name a starting receiver for the New York Jets since Keyshawn Johnson and Wayne Corbett. That's the last time I was paying attention to the New York Jets receiver corps. It's bad up there, man. I think Sam Darnold will be happy to be in Carolina. Very, very happy. Very, very happy. College, Deion Sanders is finding out really quickly that it's not all fun and games at the college level. Jackson State loses to Southern. The Southern Jaguars. Now, it's just a spring league. It's just a spring. Ain't nobody tripping. But it is real football. Let me see. I don't even have them. So this week, Oh, this is a different schedule. But all you need to know is that Deion's getting a first class introduction to college football coaching. And I'm talking about college football. And I have the honor and privilege to bring on my buddy. Let me I believe I have a video. Let me see if I can bring this up before I bring him on. I'm gonna show a video of what he does, and then maybe you guys will recognize him. Let's take a look at this video. Not this video. Let's take a look at if these janky ads. I don't need this. Who needs this? I don't want that. Just play the video that I asked you to play. This ain't it either. What is that? I pressed the wrong button. Give me the Rubio long snapping video, please. Thank you. How hard is it? All right, here we go. Let's take a look at this. Most respected specialist camp in the world, Craig, in the world. Instruction, competition, national rankings, youth, high school, college, and professional levels. Exclusive selection partner for the U.S. All-American game. This guy, home of the largest exposure camp in America. Look at who you came to see. Home of the top 12. Home of the prestigious Underclassmen Invitational, Rising Senior Invitational camps. California, Washington, Illinois, Georgia, North Carolina, Texas, Nevada, New Jersey, and more. There he is, Rubes. That's my guy. Let me get this going. Hey, this guy right here. Rubio. What up, big Rube? Are you there? Or are you crashing?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I think your video's crashing because you look like a robot. Because you're looking down. Let me see if I can't refresh. If we can't refresh you, I can't. There's nothing I can do about that. But I can hear you fine. Jimmy Mack said, Rubio! Let's see if we can't get your video fixed, man. Try to turn your video on and off on the Skype. We need to see live and in color. Let's see if we can get that doing. Getting no pressing them wrong buttons. Hey, I received my wisdom tags as an elder. I am now old school at the gym. I'm old school. Let's see if we can get Rubio fixed up until he comes on. Let's see if we can reestablish his connection. So while we get Rubio set up, let me see if I can find this picture of Rubio and some of the fellas from the 1994 Rose Bowl. We actually played together at UCLA. And let me see if I can send this to the show so I can throw it up on the screen and roast him a little bit, because he doesn't look like he looks now. Now he's all super fly. Now he's all Hollywood, and I can't recognize him, Jimmy. When he comes on, you're not going to be able to recognize him. He looks like a Hollywood motivational speaker. Let's see if I can't find this picture. Did it come through? Oh, yeah. Oh, that's the wrong one. That ain't it. Where'd it go? Is it this one? That ain't it. That's my man Paul Tran. Where'd it go? All right, man. I can't see it. All right. If you're on Facebook, hey Rubes, say something. You're still frozen. It looks like I can't call it, man. You look like a clone. Like it's there, but you're not there. I got you. I can see you. But we keep getting this static shot. While we get Drew set up, let me read off some of his information. The website is rubiosnapping.com. He and Chris Saylor have put a thumb on. There he is. There he is. He's moving. Let's do it. Let's get him. There he is. Hey, Rubio.
What's going on, man?
What's going on, man? Oh, man. Look at this guy. Now, I was trying to throw the picture up of us in 1994 when you had a head full of hair.
Head full of hair, a lot bigger, having a good time.
Now, that part, all you guys were 250 and up in college. Now you guys are all 225, 215. I mean, I saw, who did I see? I saw somebody. Was it Flanders? I saw one of our linemen, and he was nice and married with children. He was smaller than me, looking all chiseled, looking all Hollywood. And when I saw you, I believe I saw you at a Fourth and Forever tent. And I was like, what in the world? And you had on your nice Hollywood glasses. And you're like, yo, what's up, AC? I'm like, what in the world is going on here, man? How have you been? What are you up to? I know what you're up to, but let everybody out there know, man, what's going on with you, Big Rube?
I'm doing well, man. I'm running Rubio Long Snapping. I've been doing it for about 15, 16 years. After college, I decided, I'm probably not going to try the pro angle. Decided I'm going to become a middle school teacher. Did that for a couple of years. Absolutely loved it. I taught sixth grade history. Thought it was fantastic. And then I started working with Saylor. And about 12 or 13 years ago, I moved up to northern Idaho.
Oh.
Yeah. So little, just a tad different from Los Angeles.
A little bit. I mean, shoot.
Yeah, just a tad.
So where did that come from? Like, I know the camp thing is now commonplace. There are camps every position, every city. There's somebody doing camps. I believe our buddy Darren Matthews is doing camps up and where he's staying at. Mm-hmm. But you and Sales, Chris Saylor kicking, Rubio long snapping. 15 years ago, you guys had a vision. What was the spark?
Well, I was basically, like I said, teaching sixth grade history.
That's a spark.
Taylor and I obviously kept in contact, kept doing the thing, just having dinners. We both became married and families and all that, became quote unquote adults. And I was teaching. He says, hey, I'm running this camp in Vegas. I'm like, cool, that's awesome, Saylor. I'm proud of you. And he goes, well, I need some long snappers there basically just to facilitate my drills. I said, that's fantastic. Once again, I don't really care. And he said, well, I want you to come and just basically babysit like 15 or 16 guys. I said, I don't know. I'm real busy. The weekends, it's my only time off from teaching. He said, come on, I really need your help. I said, I don't know. He kept pestering me. He goes, I'll pay for your flight, your hotel, and your meals. And I said, I'm in. Let's go. And it just grew from there.
Wow. So was Saylor already doing a business, or he was running a camp for someone else? Like, when did this become like, you know what, dude? We can really monopolize this thing. I know everything about kicking. You know everything about long snapping. Let's do it. Was it something that you guys, did you guys do it with another person, or when was this whole thing matriculated?
No, it was just he and I. We were both, I think, 25, 26, 27, right around there. And he was still playing for the Arena League. So it was a much more seasonal thing. And after that first camp, he said, Rubes, you should do this. And I go, do what? And he said, long snapping lessons and camps. I go, what are you talking about? Who would pay for that? And he goes, you got the personality. You obviously know what you're doing. He goes, we can just basically marry the kicking and snapping. I'll be on one end of the field. You'll be on the other. And it started, with maybe one camp a year to two camps. So I do one lesson every 6 months to, 2 lessons every 5 months. And then it just grew and grew and grew. And now, I'm running, I think, 20 to 25 camps per year. Wow. Like you gave all the states and all the different areas. I've had over 1,000 long snappers go to the NFL or pro. This last year, I had 10 long snappers in the NFL. I just wrote down some numbers I could give to someone today. I had 24 in the SEC alone.
Wow.
21 in the Pac-12. 23 in the Big 10. Big 12, I have 14. ACC, I have 21. The Big Sky, I have 18. And so that's just over the last, X amount of years, 15, 16 years. It's just grown and grown and grown.
Right. Wow, man. So you and I know the importance of special teams. I was a special teamer, and you were a special teamer. So you, I believe I read somewhere that coaches actually call you specifically. Just, I need a guy. Like, is this where we are, that offense and defense, and now the top programs, is special teams that important in the grand scheme of winning football games and being a good program?
Oh, absolutely. The way I always describe a long snapper, they're like a Honda Accord. They're not the flashiest car in the world, but they're going to get you from point A to point B every single time. You're not looking to pick up a lot of ladies with a Honda Accord, but you're always going to get from point A to point B. That's your long snapper. On fourth down, Terry Donahue doesn't want to be yelling or watching the long snapper. He wants to yell at, your quarterback, Kate McDown, to get you the first down.
Right.
I'm dating myself right now. Or, yell at your linebacker, Brian Wilmer, to go get you the ball back.
Right.
They don't want to watch the long snapper. If you never hear the long snapper's name, he's done a fantastic job. So absolutely 100% coaches will contact me. I literally had it just today where they just want a guy that they don't have to worry about. And, every single coach wants something different. I want someone a little bit longer. I want someone a little bit thicker. I want someone that runs faster. I want someone that's, how's this mentality? Things like that.
Right. So you speak of mentality. Now, do you get kids who don't have an identity yet? They have a somewhat of a football acumen. They want to play football, but then they say, you know what, I want to give long snapping a shot. Or are you getting position players saying, hey, I'm not that great, I would like to try? Like, what kind of kids are you getting at these camps?
Honestly, both. I'm getting guys that I'm just looking for a spot on the bus, Rubio. Just get me something on the field. And then you've got also other guys that are, I'm a good linebacker, I'm a good defensive back, I'm a good tight end, but I'm not great. I'm kind of a tweener in size. I'm 6'2", 200 pounds. I don't move that well on my feet. Maybe I can practice long snapping and get it done. I mean, it's one of those things. It's like a golf swing or shooting a free throw. I'm just teaching a guy to shoot a free throw over and over and over. I'm not teaching him to do an alley-oop between the legs, three-pointer, dunk it. I don't care. I just want to see him do the same motion over and over and over again. So it's not something that's essentially hard to do. It's just you got to put in some time and effort, and you got to always say you don't have to work hard at it. You got to work smart and hard.
Yeah. So you said thousands of kids. Are we talking full ride scholarships for long snapping? Is that?
Oh yeah, full rides, preferred walk-ons. The problem is they've gotten so good at it that the scholarships have almost dwindled a little, because you can throw out a preferred walk-on to 2 or 3 guys because they're just as good as the top guys. You have 10 or 15 top kids that are just flat out studs.
Right. And
every basically cycle of 4 years, they just keep getting better and better and better and better. It's just freakish. Right. I mean, I have a kid right now at LSU he played this last year, but the Rona year didn't count, so he's basically going to be a freshman again. Right. His name's Quentin Skinner. I call him Mad Dog. He had a scholarship going into an 8th grade year. So he was a 7th grader. In between his 8th grade year, he had a full ride.
Wow.
That's how good he is. Yeah, it's absurd, man. I'm telling you.
Wow, because being a football coach of the early 2000s, I saw a decline in number of student athletes that would come out to football because of the concussions and just safety and just the overall interest. Football is not what it once was due to all the negative press, movie concussion, and CTE, just the things that we hear that happen in the long run. But apparently, long snappers and parents of long snappers aren't being affected by those ideas. I mean, if your camps are sold out, and so
yeah, and it's one of those positions that my junior year, I think it was my junior year at UCLA, they actually finally came up with a rule where you can't line up over the long snapper and you can't hit them until a count of 1.
Right.
Because my sophomore year when I was playing was at 95. They would literally just line up on you.
Yeah.
And as soon as I snapped the ball, I had my head between my legs, they would just crush you.
Yeah.
And they would do it the first 2 to 3 times, just line up and you just try to kill you, right, to intimidate you. Yeah. And if they got in your head,
the next snap
you're done.
Yeah.
But it's one of those that after the first 2, if they did not get in your head, well, then they'd go to the gaps because it was, what's the point? This guy's going to snap it perfect anyway.
Right. Just
do what you got to do. And then my junior year, I was just telling the story to someone else. That's when they came out the rule. You can't line up over the long snapper, and you have to let him get his head up or a count of 1. I remember the first 2 or 3 games that the referees were like, all right, they would stand literally with their hand on my helmet and, get off the long snapper. And I was like, this is the best rule ever.
Yeah.
And then by game 4 or 5, they would not say it. And you'd always have some monster lining up on me. And I would, like, under my voice with Myers to my left and, Sauter to my right, I'd say, hey, don't forget, lay off the long snapper, lay off the long snapper.
Right.
And the ref would be, oh, yeah, lay off the long snapper, lay off the long snapper.
Remind them. They had to remind them. So now,
best rule ever.
Best rule ever, because now it's almost best to be a long snapper, a quarterback, or a defensive end, because you guys can literally go a whole game without using your head. And it's
well, yeah. And as a long snapper, you're playing 8 to 15 plays a game. If your team's terrible,
right,
you have a lot of punts. If your team's great, you're doing a lot of PATs.
Wow, man. So I like one of your stats. You didn't have a bad snap in 3 seasons. I mean.
Yep. And I remember my senior year, like the last game, what was it? Who's it? Bill Parcells? No, Bill. Who's the sports writer? Plaschke. Yeah. Bill Plaschke for this. He wrote an article on me. It was basically someone figured it out. I don't know who. That I hadn't had a bad snap, and my entire time on the field was like 25 minutes. That's it. For 3 years.
Your whole career.
So you played more in one game than I did in my whole 3 years.
But your snaps, man. Did you snap the ball in our overtime win over USC in '96? Was that you?
I did.
Was that you?
I did. I remember.
Do you know how big that's?
I remember that so specifically. Because I remember upside down looking, and I remember seeing it was I can't remember. It was just a tie. It was like 28-27.
Yeah.
And I want to say it was Darryl Russell in front of me.
Oh my God! Rest in peace, the monster.
Yeah. He just pawed down right on me, and I was like, "Oh, good God!" And I remember looking backwards, upside down at the clock. It was like 0-0, whatever it was. That's the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, "For the love of God, do not mess one up now."
Not now. That was you, man. Now. We were like, because you Bjorn. Who was Andersick holding? Who was holding?
It was either Andersick or Kevin Walker.
K-Dub, whatever it was.
Yeah.
It was just like, this is not the time to come. We got the ball back. We're expecting this to be automatic, man, and it was. I mean, Bjorn was automatic. You were automatic. It was like clockwork, like you said. Coaches don't want to have a headache back there. So that's, I mean, some people say they hate kickers. So when we get Chris Taylor on the show, we'll see how he feels about that comment. People hate kickers. I was like, but no, man, you got good ones. You love them. And our long snappers, how many tackles did you make on punting?
How much hair do I have?
None.
I used to be the guy that would jump on the pile. Just jump on the pile, like jump on Wilbur.
Yeah.
And then they would just say, they see my number, and they'd be like, tackle 64 Rubio, and everyone would get pissed. And be like, yeah, that was me.
Oh, man. My man Rodney Sauce is a college official. He said he reffed a blind snapper from USC.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I've had two blind long snappers go through me.
Wow.
One went to Tulane, and the other one went to Miami. I just have a girl who's a 2021 right now. She's got scholarship offers.
What?
Oh, yeah, man.
Wow.
I'm teaching a very, very specific skill set.
Wow. So I got a kid in my house. He's 16 now. He just turned 16 like last month. He's 6'3", pushing 6'4", 200 pounds. Doesn't play football at all.
Doesn't matter.
He'd be a good long snapper. Does
he know anything about football?
He knows how to play, but he does not desire to play. And
can he throw a football?
He can throw a football.
Okay, doesn't even matter. The best long snappers. If I'm going to build a long snapper, all right, it's easier for me to work with someone who's never snapped a ball in their life,
but can throw a little bit.
I thought before, who really didn't know how to hold a football, but it was easy because he had no bad habits.
Right. So
he didn't know anything incorrect. So I was just molding a fresh piece of clay. I didn't have to just destroy the piece of clay and then rebuild it. If I'm going to build a long snapper, here's what I'm looking for. This is God's honest truth. Long arms, a big head, a big butt, a little bit dumb. That's the best. Anyone that's right around, because you know this as a coach, and just when you play, you get anyone too smart on the football field, they tend to overthink.
Yeah.
And I just need you to get down, bend over, snap the dead animal really fast. That's all we're doing.
That's it.
I always say we're not solving cancer.
That's it.
Just snap the ball.
That's all we're doing.
Shut up and snap it.
You don't even have a.
Yeah, so like when I come in for do lessons with me in Northern Idaho, first thing I'm saying is what type of music you want to listen to, and then we're just talking the entire time as I'm teaching them, just so I get them to relax.
Relax.
I get them to relax.
Wow, that's crazy. Now, My son will probably never play football because, personal reasons. My nephew had an unfortunate accident in a football game. So he's pretty much like, Dad, you're all banged up. My cousin can't walk. So I think I'm good on football. And I said, I get it, son.
Yeah.
I get it, son. But some people still need to play it. It's a sport that you love and you do it regardless of the small chance that something might happen. And that happened in baseball. It can happen in basketball. It can happen in any sport. It can happen taking a bath, but you still, you got that, you can not play. So he's playing basketball. He's having a good time. But I'm just thinking like, wow, a parent that wants their student at their house that has a athletic ability a little bit, and they got this big old kid eating you out of house and home, but they have no skill set, no identity. I could send them to Rubio long snapping camp and possibly get a scholarship because I learned a skill set that is well documented and desired and in high demand around the country. Has Nick Saban called you, Rubes? Like
I've got some great, I've got some great Saban stories when I met him, because going real quick, I want to jump back, and you don't have to have the kid that's eating them out of house and home. Remember, now they don't even, only like 3 teams in the country now snap and block.
Yeah.
So, the other 800 or whatever, they're just releasing. So I've had long snappers that have been 5'3", 140 pounds.
What?
They're obviously going
in college or high school?
You can't touch them. No, this is college.
Oh my God.
Because you can't touch them.
Is that safe?
And then if you have someone really, really athletic, they're weaving through the field.
Are they making tackles at 145? Like, are they?
Yes. Yeah. You can't touch them. You can't even grab a hold of him until he gets his head up. So as soon as he gets his head up, he's juking. He's gone.
Wow.
It happens a lot. I mean, your average size long snapper. Well, coming out of high school, I was a little over 6 foot, 293. My first day at UCLA. Yeah. 293. Now your average is like 6'1", 215. Or at UCLA, I would have been killed at that size. Yeah. Because we had to snap and block. Right. Block. Right. I don't have to do that.
Yeah, and you had to cover, and hopefully you didn't have to make a tackle. And if you said you had 0 tackles, you don't have to tackle. You just need to snap.
My job was just to push the wake some way.
Wow, you can't even. My man Rodney's official said you can't even hurdle the snapper anymore.
You can't hurdle.
Can't touch it.
I mean, it's like a bubble.
Is it a 15-yard penalty if they do? It's a
15-yard personal foul.
Wow, that's why Nick Saban's calling. If I can just keep... So, I mean, I'm not going to get into your pocketbook, but I imagine it's lucrative because the parents, I mean, was your business affected by COVID at all last year?
It was one of those things because I had, I think, a camp on March 7th in North Carolina, March 8th in Georgia. And then as soon as we came back on March 9th or March 10th, that's when, the Rona lockdowns happened for, 2 weeks or whatever. And so I missed probably 7 or 8 camps where we had to adjust. And right at that point, it was probably April 1st, April 2nd. I said, I got to do something here, because people want to keep some sort of normalcy in their life. And so what I did was I started doing virtual lessons where I would set up half an hour increments starting at I think it was 9 o'clock, 9 to 9:30, give myself 15 minutes, 9:45 to 10:15, give myself minutes, 10:30. I would do 8 or 9 a day. Wow. And I did those. I think I did like 450 of them over an X amount of months.
So,
and it was,
how'd that look? Were they snapping and you were critiquing online?
It was wild because everyone was at home, and I'm in northern Idaho sitting in my office or in my shop where I'm doing my lessons, and I just got a tripod with my phone, and I'm literally FaceTiming someone in the middle of Arkansas, and I'm we're working with Wi-Fi issues, as you understand.
Oh yeah.
And all of a sudden they don't have a pumped up ball, or I'm trying to teach the mom or dad or grandma or whoever's there, because everyone was there. Okay, you hold the camera like this. Okay, do it like this. I'm gonna do this. Put your hand here. Oh, I need to get his eyes through here. No, not like that, but like this. So I'm doing all that, and you have every single parent is at home. So they were physically exhausted because I'm trying to, basically put on the Rubio show.
Right.
Over and over and over. Yeah. And I would, after like 4 or 5, I would have, lunch, and I come in and I would literally take a nap.
Man, I know.
And my wife's like, what are you doing? And I go, I'm exhausted.
Yeah, you had teaching experience. Yeah.
And so I had, basically an hour lunch, and then I'd go out and do 5 more.
Oh my God, man. I can't imagine, because I'm administrator in a school district, and I'm teaching teachers how to teach online. and they're
Oh, no, it was.
they're blown out. They're blown out. It's harder than real teaching. Is
Oh, my far.
by far, because you have to worry about all the Zoom intricacies and all the things you can't do in person. I can't even.
And I got 30 minutes to perfect everything.
Oh man, there's no way. Hey man, hats off to you, man. What's next, man? What now that things are opening back up? And some states back east have not even closed ever, like Florida. Some places like Texas got things wide open. What's next for you, man? What do you got lined up?
Where was I? I was just. Let me look at. I was just in North Carolina and Georgia, March 6th and 7th. March 21st, I was in Indiana. April 18th, I'll be in Dallas, Texas. May 1st, I'll be in California. May 2nd, I'll be in Washington. May 14th, 15th, and 16th, I'll be in Vegas.
Wow.
So it's basically just got to kind of find either states that are open or counties that are open. Like last time we were in California, we had to go basically to San Diego County because I guess their restrictions are less.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and I'm living up in northern Idaho where it's like the Wild West.
Yeah.
So it's weird for me to, when I talk to sailors who still lives in Burbank, how restricted they are.
Right.
And I'm just like, I don't know what's up here.
Yeah, it's different everywhere, man. They put twisty ties on my basketball courts in my housing complex, and then this evening they took them down. Now the nets are down, so kids are out there shooting. It's like what's going on? Like, what is it? Are we open or are we not? It's very hard to keep a temperature of what's going on. But glad to hear everything's opening back up. Now, how many student athletes are you getting at each of these camps?
You know, it depends on the location. You know, you go on up into the South, they're really into football.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you get in North Carolina, Georgia. I think my Georgia camp I had around 85.
Wow.
And I think my Texas camp coming up, I'll have right around the exact same number. Whereas in California, it's usually a little less. Seattle's usually a little bit less. You know, in New Jersey or Boston, a little bit less.
Right.
It just depends on where you go. Where, you know, it just like in anything, SEC football they're really into it.
Yeah.
You know, in the Pacific West, they're not so much into football.
Yeah. Yeah. We got so much to do, other things to do.
Yeah.
But when football is life, you do what you got to do to get on the field. Now, I don't want to be forward and ask, but how much is a camp for a kid to attend?
Right now, a one-day camp is $350.
Okay. And there's weekends or just one day?
It's usually on a Sunday.
Okay.
It's usually about 6-7 hours.
Okay. And you got coaches that work under you and all that good jazz?
Yeah, usually what I'll do is I'll be the main guy, obviously, but so say I go to, where am I? Georgia. I was just in Georgia. I'll have, you know, basically 4 or 5 of my instructors that are still playing football in the area. So I may have like a Kennesaw State, a Georgia Southern, a Georgia State, a Georgia Tech, University of Georgia long snapper. They all come and help for the day. And then I have some senior instructors as well that have been with me that have graduated, you know, and they're basically real adults.
Yeah.
But they always come back because they know a lot of good information.
Cool, man. And now, do scouts come out? Do they know about your camps and they come and just get a sneak peek and who's out there?
They used to be able to. At our Vegas event, it was basically just an auction. The coaches would come out and they would talk to Sailor and Rubio and say, hey, okay, who am I looking at? We'd tell you, these are the 25 guys you want to look at. Man. They'd walk by, hey, AC, I like you. Let me see you snap boom. You want a scholarship to UCLA.
Wow.
But NCAA stopped that.
Oh, they did? I hate the NCAA, man. What's wrong with that?
It was unfair to schools that could not afford to travel coaches. UCLA could drive over there, but Rhode Island couldn't fly over because they didn't have the bus. So that was not allowed.
Oh.
And then we used to be able to run college camps. So like UCLA would hire Sailor and I, Alabama would hire us, Georgia, who else? Texas A&M, Texas, USC, Washington, Rutgers. We worked all their camps, Oregon. But then NCAA said that was not fair, so they stopped that about 5 years ago.
Oh,
so
man.
now all the coaches go off just my rankings now. So that's what they have to do. So that's my rankings. I need to be so fair and balanced. If I tell the school, he's the number one in the country.
He's number one.
He's the number one in the country. If he's not, I look like an idiot.
Yeah, well, you get to be. You're the Mel Kiper of long snappers now. So what you say goes, man. Who's the number one? I think it's Trevor Lawrence. Even though he hasn't played in 3 years, Trevor Lawrence is number one quarterback in the country. So that's actually pretty heavy, man. You gotta I just watched the admission scandal documentary on Netflix, and how this one dude was running this illegal scam getting kids in school. Talking about his word was bond, getting kids in school, and it's almost like you're doing it legitimately. You're bringing kids to your
Okay.
camp, taking a look, and giving them the nod.
So here's the funny thing. When you saw that, there was a section in there where he says, "Hey, I even got a guy in as a long snapper."
Mm-hmm.
True story. I got subpoenaed by the Supreme Court for that case.
Wow.
And I get this letter, and I think I called Sailor. I go, "Are you messing with me, man? This is because it was like official seal. Like, why is the Supreme Court subpoenaing me?"
Wow.
And it said, I got it in August or whatever day it was, or month, and it said, September 1st or whatever, we need you in D.C. for this court case.
Wow.
And I'm flipping out. I'm like, I'm not going to D.C. for an hour, whatever. So
Zoom.
I called them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, this is Chris Rubio. I've got the subpoena. What the hell's going on, man? And they said, okay, Chris, hold on. Let me connect you with blah, 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 blah. And they said, have you heard these names? And John Smith, Tim Smith, whatever, just random names. And I go, no. And they said, okay, are you sure? Can you please look it up on your website? Yeah, man, I memorized the names. I got it. And he goes, okay, that's fine. We figured that. I guess that guy had used my name because I was the biggest long snapping force as like, hey, this guy was approved by blank.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa.
That dude was dirty, man. His name was it Rick Singer? Rick Singer was his name? Rick?
Yes.
Oh, my God. He was so dirty, man. I was like glad they got him. But then he gets to walk because he snitched out everybody. I was like, what?
Yep.
He gets to walk because he snitched out the parents? I was like, that is so dirty. Our system is so backwards. Oh, man. I got a comment from my buddy Mark Paul at Mater Dei. He says, tell Rubio I have a class of 2024 long snapper at Mater Dei. He's also playing strong safety and outside backer. Well, you got to send him to camp. That's Mater Dei. Y'all got money. Send that boy to camp.
Yeah.
Send him to Mater
May 1st.
May 1st, where at?
Mater Dei just graduated a great long snapper last year. His name was Cruz Rubio. He was my son.
Oh, that was your son? Or was it your?
Yeah, he's at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo now.
And that was your natural son, or just a guy you adopted because he has his last name Rubio?
No, it's my natural kid.
Oh, congratulations, man! Congratulations. It's only fitting that your son would be a good long snapper. Oh man, that's cool, man. Hey, Rube, anything you want to add before you get out of here, man?
Yeah, just if anyone wants any information, just RubioLongSnapping.com, and you can find Chris Rubio or Rubio Longsnapping on all avenues of social media.
I got it down there on the screen, you guys. Check him out, RubioLongsnapping.com. Hey, man, he is one that can also say, like Jimmy Mack and I, we never lost to SC.
Never lost
to SC. And he can say never bad snapped. Never had a bad snap. So he can get his LeVar Ball on with snapping. Never had a bad snap.
Yeah.
At your next camp, you can use that, man. I'll give you permission. All right, man. Appreciate you for coming through, man. Hanging out with your boy for a half. I got to get Chris Sales on, man. I'm asking questions about that kicking and see how his life was when people would say, I hate kickers. I've never heard anyone say I hate long snappers. So I guess your life has been real.
Number one, you can never hate long snappers. And you have to remind him, because I always tell him this and it pisses him off. You'll never see a game-winning kick without a game-winning snap.
Hey, Brent Brennan just hopped on here. Brent Brennan. Wasn't BB a holder at one point? He was just too long. Brent Brennan was too long to be a holder.
Yeah,
those knees were too knobby to be a holder. Brent Brennan, the best.
He's crushing as a coach.
Oh, he's killing it, man. Brent Brennan is probably going to be the next coach at UCLA if he keeps up winning in where he is at San Jose State. I think he's going to be one of the next UCLA coaches. You heard it here first, Mike Staff. All right, man. Rubes, always welcome, man. Whenever you want to come on, holla at your boy, brother.
Thanks, AC.
Much love, brother. Next time. Peace. Oh, man, that's Rubes. Rubio, class of 97, man. Never lost to SC. My guy. Man, glad he came through. All right, man, let's finish up the show. Got a little time left. Appreciate y'all hanging out with your boy. All right, let's have a little fun, man. I was going to talk about this article on SI, but I'm going to probably hold off on that. But I'm going to give it to you guys so you guys can take it out on your own. It's an article about the LA City section. Let's see if I can pull it up. So I was reading. It's about the dwindling days and last gasps of the LA City section. Now, all my City section homeboys, Jimmy Mack and, all the homies, Keyshawn, all the guys that went to inner city, LA City section schools. It's an article. It was published March 9th. Pretty interesting, man. Written by Mike McKnight. I'm going to skip down to what we were talking about today in the Sports Talk group about how Long Beach Poly and Dorsey, Locke, Fremont, Washington Prep, all these teams that have put out professional football players. And it's been a minute since we've been successful because our kids are going to bigger and better pastures, better opportunities. And then they talked about a black flight, that a lot of our families are heading out to Upland and Rancho Cucamonga and places like that. Our guy Jonathan Franklin from UCLA, one of Dorsey High's illustrious running backs over the years. We also played with Sharman Shaw, now Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, also a Dorsey back, Lamont Warren, all them type of guys. In the heyday, through the turn of the millennium, the city section was a powerhouse in every sport, especially football, says Jonathan Franklin, all city section running back during the late 2000s at Dorsey High, who went on to become UCLA's all-time leading rusher, and who today works with the Rams front office. It was the most important thing in LA. From September to December, every kid wanted to go to LA City School. The streets were flooded with recruiters from across the country. As a middle school student watching Dorsey, Crenshaw rivalry, Fremont versus Banning, those were our idols. I'm gonna skip down. People like Flojo, Valerie Briscoe Hooks, Jordan and Locke High, respectively. The city section, oldest members, schools whose culture and community enthusiasm stand diminished as well. Who knew that when DeAnthony Thomas, the Black Mamba, in Crenshaw 2011 was crisscrossing urban football fields 10 years ago before starring at Oregon, ended up being in the NFL, and then Crenshaw's enrollment in 2011 was 1,466 students. A decade later, it's only half of that. The football roster was 70 kids. In 2019, there were 678 students in the school. Upland wins 48-0. That's crazy if you think about it. Crenshaw lost 48-0 to Upland, located 40 miles east of LA in the Inland Empire, where countless African American families have moved over the preceding decades due to overcrowding or concerns about crime and the cost of living in the city. We built new cities and schools under the premise that we were overpopulated, says 68-year-old Paul Knox, former Dorsey coach who is in his 27 years leading Dorsey Dons, won 4 city championships, over a dozen pros. By the time we got them built, people have moved to the outlying areas, so today we have a lot of schools, not a lot of kids. October 19, 2019, Crenshaw bounced back, beat Dorsey 51-0. Dorsey had 20 players. 20 players. Back in the era of future NFL first-round picks Chris Mims, Keyshawn Johnson, Dorsey had 80 kids every Friday night. You know that sideline was packed. I had teams with 3 Division I tailbacks at the same time, said Coach Knox. Longtime Crenshaw coach Robert Garrett wasn't gloating when he said after the 19 season blowout, "I've never seen Dorsey so down in all my days." That's kind of what I said about Poly 2 years ago when we didn't have a JV. When Antonio Pierce cut the JV team. I've never seen Long Beach Poly with so few players in the program before. He could have been speaking about the whole league though. Fremont High, built in the heart of South LA in 1923, used to have 5,000 students. They now have 2,125 in 2020. 19 Fremont players have gone to the NFL, but only 2 in the last 3 decades. Beyond the inner city flight, decades of state and federal cuts to public education, which trickled down to athletics, haven't helped. Now they have the hundreds of charter schools that have popped up on the city section turf over the last 30 years, draining enrollment and decimating sports teams' depth. But nearly everyone agrees that the main reason for the demise of city section athletics has been the aggressive recruiting of area private schools, some of which are down the street, but most of which lie in the suburbs. They come and recruit the best kids out of our area, promising them exposure and college scholarships, says Coach Knox, who still coaches in the city section at Washington Prep. That's what has left the biggest hole. And it's more to the article. It's deep, man. Sports Illustrated, March 9th article, man. And that's kind of what we're seeing. And we're trying to build it back. We're trying to see kids come back. I believe the article was based on a kid returning back to Dorsey. So, hope is not all lost, but it's going to take a movement of parents and students recruiting each other on social media to come back home. Yes, private schools do offer a good education and a good opportunity to be seen. But as we see, the grass is not always greener on the other side. I always tell student athletes to go where you're wanted. Don't go where it's hot and where you can get exposure, because you may not get the exposure you want because the place is packed with student athletes from all over. You're no longer the big fish. You're just a fish amongst a lot of fish, sometimes of which they got you there because they don't want to play against you. So it's a very, very thin line that you have to toe and find out what's the best situation for you. I'm still a big believer in public school. If it's meant to be, you can go to your neighborhood school and you'll still be seen. There's a thing called huddle. There's a thing called video. I have a business called AC Media Productions. I create highlight reels. Plug my own business. I've been creating highlight reels for almost 20 years now, since I've been in the video production business. And highlight tapes say a lot. No matter where you are, I've created highlight tapes for basketball players trying to play football. And I've gotten kids into camp. And some of them kids made teams. It's just a matter of, is it God's will for you to play football at a high level? Enjoy it, have fun, but if it becomes a business too soon, you should not be at that school. It's tough, but ain't nothing like playing for your neighborhood school, man. I'm so glad I did not succumb to the offers to play at St. John Bosco or Mater Dei. I even got asked to leave Long Beach Poly to come play for, was it Kennedy Public School in Buena Park? Was it Cypress? Whatever it was. I had a good game in Summer League passing league, and the coaches was like, come to Kennedy, we'll take care of you. What is that? What is that? One of the best football players in Long Beach Poly history is Jason Jones, and he had an opportunity to play at Fountain Valley. Thank God he turned it down, because he became one of the best, most highly touted recruits in the history of our illustrious past. So once again, young student athletes, there's nothing wrong with staying home. You can take advantage of the academics there too. It's not all bad. It's up to you to take advantage of the academics where your school is. Challenge them. Make your teachers teach. Get in the honors classes. Get in the AP courses. Take the dual enrollment courses. If you're at Poly, you should be in CIC or PACE. Challenge yourself academically so they don't have anything to say about you. Same thing at Washington Prep. Same thing at Crenshaw, Dorsey, Locke, Fremont, all the schools, Jefferson, all these schools with these great, great histories. Recent past haven't been so much because all the kids are going to the private schools. More power to the kids that are at private schools and their parents that choose such. That's the path for you. It's not for everybody. I think there's enough kids to go around. My thing is, don't turn your back on your school before you give it a chance. All right? That's my 2 cents on that. Holla at your boy. All right, so moving on real quick. I believe it's time for my 2 cents. Let me make sure. Where's my slate? I'll press the wrong button. I'm getting old, they say. I'm getting old, Miss Mac. All right. I have Rube on. Appreciate you, Big Rube. Great insight. Chris Rubio, longsnapping.com. If you have a student athlete that wants a scholarship and they think that they can snap, he said he'll mold that clay into a scholarship. Check him out. Chris Rubio, longsnapping.com. All right, my 2 cents. Let's do it. Rapid fire, my 2 cents. Real quick, Stephen A. I apologize for running tonight's Gonzaga Baylor national title game before it even tips off. I truly do. But Gonzaga's gonna win. It's over. Sorry, Baylor. Stephen A. Smith. In the immortal words of the late, great Charlie Murphy, wrong. The Baylor Bears put them things on Gonzaga. If you didn't see it, check out Aaron Rodgers hosting Jeopardy. Kind of hard to watch at first, but he got into a groove and became the AA round we're all accustomed to seeing. Cool, calm, and collective. Very smart. I believe he won Celebrity Jeopardy when he was on the show, so now he's a guest host on Jeopardy for the late, great Alex Trebek. My guy, Jonathan Ogden, was very good at Jeopardy. I think he can go on there and be a great host as well. This one made me laugh. This has nothing to do with sports, but for me and the rest of my old heads on the show, Generation X, that's us. 1960 to 1979, the last great generation before all you sissies were born. I don't know about you, but my dad gave me beer at the age of 2. Smoke Dog, baby. I've been drinking since I was 2. Colt 45 and Schlitz malt liquor. Man, it was cold. I had never tasted something so cold in my life. Thank God I'm not an alcoholic right now. Having alcohol at a young age. Go down smooth, don't come up rough. Go down real smooth, come up rough. Miss Mack in the building. Let me see what she's talking about. There's so many charter schools around now. There are 4 charter high schools less than 1 mile from Washington Prep. That's part of the problem. Yes, but you can't play sports if you're at a charter school, unless the charter school has a sport that you want to play. So back in the day, if you wanted to play football, you went to the prep. I taught at a charter school, and the kids wanted me to start a football program. And that's what I believe is Animo. Lock Animo is a charter school. That's that kind of surface. My buddy was a coach there. So yeah, more schools mean less kids. We always complain about there being too many kids in the classroom. So charter schools were like feasting. Opening up. D Mac in the house, you know. Jimmy Mac. It's always about the shiny object for the parents and the athletes. The private school is the shiny object right now. Yep, the disheartening part is kids are aspiring to go to these private schools. Like middle school kids, ooh, I'm going to Mater Dei. Ooh, I'm going to Bosco. Ooh, I'm going to Servite. Oh, I'm going to J. Sarah. Orange Lutheran. Trinity League. I got a scholarship to go to high school. It's shiny. It's new. I'm not mad at parents. Get your kid out the hood. Get them a better education, so to speak, if they go to class, if they're good students, if they go. Some of these private schools are taking care of these kids and they're not getting education. They go out somewhere far, get sent right back home because they have not been held accountable. That's a whole nother show. Maybe something for me and Jimmy to talk about one day on 1585. D-Mac 5, keep up the good work. Stay in control. You know. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Near beer for Jimmy Mac. Near beer. Nah. Philly T gave me that Schlitz where the bull bust out the wall. Remember that commercial? When the guy cracked open that beer and a blue bull would crack through the wall and the party would be over. Everybody start running. That was the first beer I ever tried as a 2-year-old. And from that point on, I was always going in there, sneak me a little drink because it was so cold. When I got scared straight, one time there was a party at the house, and the next day it was beer and cigarette butts all over the place from the last night's party. And I saw this Schlitz Malt Liquor Bull can sitting there on the table, and I might have been around 4. And I looked around, I was going to get me a nice sip of this Schlitz malt liquor. So I picked it up and shook it. It was something in there. So I took a drink. It was ashes. It was cigarette ashes. And that was my last drink of Schlitz malt liquor bull. That was it. I was done. Scared straight. I don't like the taste of no Schlitz malt liquor bull. Terrible. Terrible. Miss Mack said most of the time PE teachers will recruit kids to play. I know I was. I'd go to the park and watch kids play. Your daddy's choice of beer? Hey, I'm not even a beer drinker. I don't drink at all, but I remember how cold it was. St. Ives, that's that new stuff. That's for you new millennials. I don't remember that being around. I remember Mad Dog 2020, Schlitz malt liquor bull, Colt 45, Old English, Night Train, all those type of drinks my dad and them used to drink. And we had to stay in the back room. And while they party, and you be sneaking and look from the corner of your room, trying to see what's going on out there, and they be out there dancing. It looked like the Versus challenge the other night with the Isley Brothers versus Earth, Wind & Fire. That's what it looked like. Old heads out there getting it. Just getting it. I thought that would be a fun one. Nothing to do with sports at all. Speaking of Versus, if you didn't see it, them old heads was cutting the rug the other night on the Versus. It's sports related because they were competing. It was a draw. First round went to Earth, Wind & Fire. Second round went to the Isley Brothers. I can't call it. When Keep Your Head to the Sky and Journey to Atlantis come on, it's a wrap. I have to put on my falsetto voice and hit them high notes in the shower. If you have not seen it, check it out on IG. Versus. It was a good battle. I think both won. Very good. Best running back of the 2010s. The greatest running back of the 2010s. My guy that posted it said Shady. Now, as you can see, I'm an Eagles fan. Shady was great. But was Shady the greatest of these guys? Adrian Peterson was a monster. Marshawn Lynch was a monster. And we know Gore is probably the most durable running back of all time, playing as many years as he's played. But who was the greatest of the 2010s? I mean, that's 11, 12, 13, all the way to 19 to now. I mean, shoot. Greatest includes longevity, durability. Only one on here that got a ring is beast mode. I think you got to go. I mean, AP came back from a knee injury in 6 months. And they ain't looked back. He's still playing. Talking about greatness. Gore is he's good because he's serviceable. He's reliable. But he's not great. He might be a Hall of Famer because of longevity. He might play in the same league his son plays in if he hangs around about 3 more years. Shady, Pro Bowler. I'm going to have to go with Adrian Peterson, man. What he did with that knee. Beast mode, he scored a lot of touchdowns. He had some signature runs. But as far as greatness, I'm going to go AP, man. Who y'all got? AP? Yeah. All day, Adrian Peterson. All day, Andre. The Versus, Miss Max said, Ron Isley out there looking like a zaddy. I don't want to hear that. My homegirl said he could get it. And I was like, are you kidding me? Have you seen the Down Low series? Did you know Mr. Biggs will have you in the hospital? He'll say, shut up. Can't you see 2 men are talking? Thought I told you to keep on walking. Now I've seen you somewhere some time ago. Canceled R. Kelly sings, no, I don't think so. Yeah, I think I know you, brother, very well. Frank, shut up. Y'all gonna make me watch the download. Y'all gonna make me watch the whole series. Mr. Biggs, this is Mr. Biggs. How you doing, Mr. Biggs? What you think is going on?
I'm sorry, I can't do that for you.
Look it. I'm singing so good that Alexa and Siri want to know what's going on. I must have sang so good that Alexa and Siri want to know what's going on. That's crazy, man. That's crazy, man. Rodney, why are you naming all these beers, man? Coors, Pabst, Blue Ribbon, and Budweiser. Jack Daniel and Johnny Walker with the older cousins pulling up in those Dodge vans with the bed in the bars. All of them used those vans in the 70s to beat the motel money. That's why outside kids pop up at the funeral. They had them Scooby Mobiles. They had the mystery machine. They was putting them young girls in there. I read Pimp. I read all them Donald Goins books. Them old heads was not slick. They were turning them young girls out back in the 70s, man, in them vans. And a little taste of liquor. A little taste of the liquor. Oh, man. She said, stop singing, AC. I cannot sing a lick, but I know the words. Jimmy said, I hated the In the Closet series. I'm going to have to watch it. It was so ridiculous, man. R. Kelly got away with murder, man. Trapped in the closet. That was ridiculous, man. How we let R. Kelly get away with that, man? R. Kelly should be writing the Isley Brothers an album every 6 months right now. No, he shouldn't. He's gonna be on there. You killing me, man. I'm trying to see my daughter. You killing me. Mike Stats, I got the whole Trapped in the Closet series. Oh, what do you mean you got it? You bought it? You bought the DVD compilation? What's wrong with you, Mike? Are you crazy, man? You can't be serious. You bought this whole series? Alexa said, I can't do that for you. Siri. She said, what? She said, no, I can't sing. I'm just trying to say, can you sing the song for me?
Sure, absolutely. Okay, here I go. Hang on. Let me just clear my...
Can y'all hear Siri?
Singing is harder than I thought.
Oh, Siri can't sing either. Mike's dad wife calls those vans the Chester, the Molester vans. Ew. Oh man, you got the DVDs? That's gonna be a keeper. That's gonna be a collector item. Hold on to those. They're gonna be worth something. R. Kelly himself might buy them from you. That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, here go one. This one came down. I'm not sure how I feel about it, man. I heard Lonnie Graham posted this one, and we're talking about numbers. The Kansas City Chiefs, Kansas City number change proposal. I'm not sure if it's a Chief, but it says Kansas City's number proposal. Under this proposal, a player could use a number within these ranges. So all I'm looking at really are the skill positions, not quarterback, punter, kicker. I'm looking at running back, tight end, and receiver. This would mean that skill position players can wear single-digit numbers. DBs and receivers can have single-digit numbers. I don't know, man. In the pros, like when I had my little cup of coffee in the pros, it was like a rite of passage to wear a pro number. I've always worn single-digit numbers, low numbers. I wore 5 in high school, wore 15 at UCLA because they didn't have 5 because Kenny Easley had it retired. I wasn't good enough to pull 5 off the wall. Like Chris Johnson pulled his daddy number off the wall in basketball. 54 came off the wall. I wasn't going to be doing none of that. I had 15. So when I got to the Arizona Cardinals, they gave me number 20 because I was a cornerback. Number 20, cool. 20, I'll roll with 20. Got to the New Orleans Saints, I was 27. Cool, 20. A 20 number is, any 20 number is good in the NFL. It's when you get to them 30s and 40s, you got to worry about how nasty you're going to look in that uniform. But to me, any 20 number looks good. Even 23, even 28. 29 is nice. 27 is nice. 26, you can get away with 26. I think Sean Taylor wore 26 for a little while before turning to 21. My hope is that they don't do this. I think receivers should be no lower than 10, because I already had a hard time with 10 through 19 for receivers, but I know they had no more numbers left, so I get that. But I thought it was an honor to wear number 88 when I played receiver at UCLA. 88 and 83, because I had 88 out the gate, 88 is Jerry Rice, 83 was Andre Reed. Those are two of my favorite receivers. I even wanted 47 like Michael Irvin at Miami, 47. With an untucked jersey, cut jersey midriff. Now my guess would be this: if they do pass this and they allow skill guys to wear single-digit numbers, it won't be long before the big fellas, when they have their pop belly out and wear a single-digit number 2. As we saw at Clemson, they had number 9, was 6'7", 340 with a big tummy. I believe Notre Dame had a big guy out there, number 1. 6'7", 300 pounds, something like that, with a big tummy. It's only a matter of time. So my suggestion is leave it how it is. Jalen Ramsey don't need to wear number 8. He's cool wearing number 20. He is number 20. When you think about number 20, you think about Jalen Ramsey. Now I know Deion Sanders wore number 2 in practice. I wore number 1 in practice in arena football. I wore number 21 in the games. I wore number 1 in practice. Even though in Arena League you can wear single digits, but I thought that was kind of bush league to wear single digit numbers in pro. It was Arena League, so I guess it was okay. But I'm really thinking about getting back to the NFL where they wear traditional numbers. I'm gonna get off my lawn on this one. Keep the numbers how they are. I don't want to see single digit numbers at this spread, because you know why? They're gonna start wearing number 0 in football, and that don't look right to me. I've seen number 0 at UCLA. I've seen number 0 at Cal. Number 0s are popping up in football. It was at Oregon. They had this big old 0, and the guy wasn't even that big, so it didn't look right to me. I'm all about the classic look, man. Classic. I can't do it. Miss Max said, I told you that's what Alexa said. She said, shut up. As ridiculous as they were, they are a collective item. They are. I mean, they're hilarious. Trapped in the Closet DVD compilation. Mike Stafford got it. On sale for $50. Imagine Ray Lewis wearing number 5. Ray Lewis, what was Ray Lewis in college for 52? He was already a professional number. So I know there's something to. Just imagine the offensive lineman wearing a single digit number. It's coming. Because you got offensive linemen that play pickup basketball when they play point guard. It's only a matter of time, man. Only a matter of time. J Max said he wore number 7 in practice in Europe. It's fun. But you know when it's time to play in the game, you're going to be 10 through 19 or 80 through 89. That's number 85. Number 85 was Jimmy Mack. Jimmy Mack was 85, man. That was who he was, 85. That's where you get 1585. Number 80 in games. You was legit. Number 80. You was the number 1 receiver. Number 80. That's Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice wore number 88 in college. Number 80 for the Niners. Keep the numbers the same for my sanity. Because Rodney would have to officiate and count linemen and count too many receivers on the line of scrimmage. It would be a madhouse. It really would be. I cannot get out of here without talking about my man Paul Pierce. What in the world was Paul Pierce thinking? If you haven't seen it, Paul Pierce is wilding out on Instagram Live. And people going in on Paul Pierce, man. Paul Pierce really went there. He really threw it all away for 315 live viewers. PP is in the building. I hope it was worth it. And, you know, you got to know who you work for, man. You don't work for Triller. You work for Disney. Disney ain't having it. So I'm not sure who you thought you was working with. You must have something on the back burner about to happen. Because you knew what you were doing was not going to be well received. So Pop, if you did not know, Paul Pierce has been let go by ESPN, which is owned by Disney, a family company. They have parted ways. It's a very nice way of saying got fired. Immediately. Get your stuff and go. Get your stuff and go. And here come the memes. ESPN employees carrying Paul Pierce out of the office. We got Jay Will, Rachel Nichols, Perk, Jefferson, and Stephen A. carrying Paul Pierce off with a ESPN 34 jersey on. Like he was carried off the court when he had to go boo-boo in his playing days, only to return and finish the game. Paul Pierce, as Draymond once said, they don't love you like that. You ain't Kobe. 24 Kobe? Yeah, man. That right there gets the gas face. That right there gets the gas face. Show him, AI, the gas face. Gotta go. Bye, PP. Miss Mac says she don't see a problem. You know how Disney do. They got this high and mighty mystique about them. Paul Pierce said, I don't know how to quit in person, so let me do it on the ground. That'll do it. And I think if you get fired, you get paid. So he might have done it that way to get that good check. You go and talk about Lil Nas X? Nah, that's not my thing. I'm good. I don't watch horror movies because that's not my thing. I saw a picture of what Lil Nas X was trying to do, and I steer clear. I teach the teens at my church, and I suggested to them, steer clear. You know what it is. Why even engage? So he gets no plug, gets no run on my show. We said enough about him. Ain't nobody trying to buy no devil shoes. And your devil video, you can keep that too. I don't roll with the enemy. They would love nothing more for us than to roll with the enemy. I'll roll with Yeshua. Period. Period. All right, this one right here made me mad, y'all. It made me mad. All right, this one right here. I'm watching one of my favorite cartoons, Popeye. And Popeye's helping Olive Oil at the daycare. This ain't sports related either, but I think it's important to notice and point out. Popeye, we grew up on it, we loved it. Had no idea that they made the black kids monkeys. I was flabbergasted. I'm watching Popeye, eating some cereal, having a good time. And I hear these kids on the screen complaining to Olive Oil. And I look up, the black kid was drawn as a monkey. I'm gonna have to boycott Popeye. The things you see, man. As a kid, I thought nothing of it. As an adult, I'm seeing things for what they are, man. It's sad. It really is sad. All right, man. I'm going to end on a positive note. Things are opening back up. People still wearing their masks, social distancing. But I have a top 11, because I lost one. Top 11 masks of the COVID. And you can pick which one you think is the best. I'm just going to run down the line. Y'all got something to say about Popeye's Niglet? Does that include Popeye's chicken too? Nah, we're gonna give Popeye's chicken a pass. Brutus was just as big of a sex offender as Pepe Le Pew. That part. I mean, manhandling olive oil, taking the loving, just taking it. I mean, shoot, grabbing her, snatching her up. Popeye had to eat his spinach to get him off of her. Crazy, man. All right, number 12. My man got on a full-on scuba gear to go to the store. Number 12. COVID-19 masks edition. Top 12. It's top 11 because I lost one. Number 11. Full-on boots, gloves, and some futuristic anime character. Grocery shopping. Very creative. Number 10. Garbage bags. This is not Missy Elliott. This is garbage bags and duct tape with a regular mask, garbage bags, hair, clothes, all covered up. Number 9 is missing. Jump down to 8. Miss Lady, not sure how sanitary this is, but you have a wash, scrub, sponge on your face with a rubber band holding it on there. That's nasty. It might be brand new, so I guess it's not that bad, but the level of protection has to be in question. Number 7. I'm not even sure if this is during the COVID because the man next to him has no mask on. But the BoJack Horseman outfit for the COVID, very creative. Reminds me of the Sorry to Bother You movie where the men were turned into horses. Very interesting. How about the plastic comforter bag that your comforter comes in and you wear it over your whole body as far as it reaches? Creative, but you might die. This young man decided to put together a newspaper cone with some black tape, cut some eyes out. Now it looks like Spy versus Spy. Not mad at him. Do what you gotta do. Be resourceful. My man, black people, we gotta do better. My man cut out, I wanna say that's more of a 3-gallon container. Cut a hole out, stuck his head inside. It reminds me of when you get your ears done on your dog. Not that serious, bro. A for effort, C for ingenuity. This is not the Cleveland Browns, but a brown paper bag over your head at the supermarket. That'll work. Mama said we had a birthday party for Craig and we had some leftover birthday hats. So she put on a birthday hat for a mask. Whatever it takes is, get it done. And last but not least, my man has the used grocery plastic bag over his face. I'm not sure how he's breathing, but he also has it on his hands as gloves. Thank God the pandemic is coming to an end. Miss Mac, number 10 is the trash bags and the duct tape for me. The effort that was put into that. Somebody told him the virus was airborne and that you have to protect yourself at all costs, top to bottom. That's crazy. All right, y'all. That's my show. I appreciate y'all. I want to thank my man Chris Rubio for hanging out with me tonight. I want to thank all y'all for hanging out with me tonight. I'm not sure if we're going to have 1585 this week. I might have to work, and I think Jimmy might have to scout. But we'll play it by ear. We'll let y'all know by Wednesday. I'll put out a APB. If not, we'll probably be off for the next 2 weeks because we got 2 more weeks of football left. I might have to work Friday. Jimmy Mack might have to work Friday as well. But y'all stay tuned. We appreciate y'all support. Once again, if you're watching on YouTube, press subscribe, press like. If you're on Periscope, share it. If you're on Twitch, hit the button, whatever button's down there. And you Facebookers, continue to comment, like, and holla at your boy. I'm AC. This is AC Sports Live. It's not 1585 till Friday, but we'll see if we're going to have that this week. I appreciate y'all. Y'all continue to be safe out there. If you have not been vaccinated, go ahead and get that done. I got my Johnson & Johnson, and I'm doing all right. It took me a couple days, but I'm good. Good to go. All right? I think I got everything covered. Let's see. Let's make sure. Word to the kids who want to play one sport. Tom Izzo was on Greeny. He said 2 sports stars like Jalen Suggs. They just bode well at the next level. They're tougher. On that note, don't be one-dimensional. Oh, I forgot my sports flicks. My sports flicks cannot go without my sports flicks. Oh, man, I'm glad I looked at my list. I would have been upset because I purchased this $2 or $5 rental for my sports flick. All right, so there's a guy, an LA Hooper, that you may not have ever heard of. Did I not bring it in? I think I brought it in. Let me pull it in. His name is Raymond Lewis. Where'd my picture go? I know I saw his picture. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? This is what happens when you try to rush and finish the show. All right, here we go. Raymond Lewis. All right, so all of us old heads have heard about Raymond Lewis. Raymond Lewis, drafted by the Philadelphia 76ers, my team, is the best LA Hooper under 6'5" to not make the league. This guy put up 73 points on UCLA as a freshman at Cal State LA. He put up 53 versus a pro-loaded Long Beach State teams coached by Jerry Tarkanian. He was drafted by the Sixers, offered $50,000 a year to play, and in the documentary he said, I made more than that at Cal State LA. Drop the mic. My man had a Corvette in college. Him and the rest of his classmates at Cal State LA never went to class. So a lawsuit was filed versus Cal State LA and their coaching staff for robbing these young men of education. Of course, Raymond Lewis refused to be a part of that lawsuit because he basically got paid while at Cal State LA. Documentary. Go to RaymondLewis.com. I believe the two-day rental is $5. You can't beat it. It's worth the $5. I might watch it again. This dude was unreal. Crossover dribble before the crossover. In and out dribble before we even seen it before. In the 70s. Handles out of this world. Jumper. I mean, he was going 25 of 28 shooting. He was scoring 70 points without a three-point shot. No three-pointers yet. All twos. Unreal. Summer League legend in the Drew League. The LA Pro-Am circuit. Raymond Lewis played with Lorenzo Romar. It was unreal seeing who he was doing this to. He put buckets on Wilt Chamberlain and Jerry West. He put buckets on Michael Cooper. He gave Michael Cooper 57 at the Summer Jew League. And Michael Cooper in the documentary said they weren't all on me. The whole team was trying to stop him. And this is when Michael Cooper was supposed to be the best defender in the NBA coming out of college. It's a very tragic story. What happened was they used Raymond Lewis as an example of what you do or what happens to you when you go up against the association. He wanted to restructure his contract. Philly said no. They did not allow him to play for anybody else. He was signed by the Utah ABA team. Warming up before the game, they got a phone call from the Sixers saying, if you play him, we're going to sue your pants off. So he never played a minute of pro basketball. He made a living by asking agents to pay for his services if he were to play in the NBA again. So for about 10 years of trying out, of trying to make it back to the league, he had different agents paying him. And he did that for a while until he got his last shot with the Spurs. And I'm spoiling it for you because you still got to watch it. You have to watch it for yourself. The Spurs brought him in. He gave them the business. He was 30 years old at this point, still not having played one game, and they released him. And from that point on, it was all downhill. It becomes tragic. And a lot of the players today can thank him for making the stand that he knew when he was drafted by the Sixers, the same year that Doug Collins was drafted. I believe it was 1973. Doug Collins got a big contract, but Raymond Lewis gave Doug Collins buckets. And he told the Sixers, if I outplay Doug Collins, I want to be paid like Doug Collins. And they said, okay, show us what you got. He showed them what he had, and they did not honor what they said. They said, you're going to play for this $10,000, and we're going to prorate that $50,000 over the next 3 years or so. Peanuts for a guy who was that good. So, long story short, he refused to play for that amount. He sat out, he left, he went home. Philadelphia said, we're going to show you, you're not going to be able to play for anybody. So they kept his rights, never released him until it was too late. And by that time, every team he tried out for released him. He goes on to have a pretty dismal life, but it is not a mystery. This guy is one of the best players to never make it. He's from Watts, man. He's from Watts. He's one of us, man. He's from Success Avenue in Watts. All he wanted to do is play ball, and he was denied that right, man. The Raymond Lewis documentary. Please check it out. Check it out. Now, I'm a Sixer fan, Miss Mac. It's sad. It saddens me. But over the years, that was my squad. That was my daddy's squad. I didn't know they did Raymond Lewis like this. Does that change my allegiance? All those folks that did him wrong are long dead and gone. They went ahead and drafted Darryl Dawkins after this, and they went on to have some great years with some brothers. But they did this brother right here wrong. So shame on you, Philadelphia, for that. Raymond Lewis's memory will not go without mention. The greats in the documentary co-signed on how great he was. So we're saying this right now. Raymond Lewis was a legend, LA streetball legend, and he will be missed. He died at 48 years old. I would say of a broken heart, but he also had some other problems with it. All right, now that's really my show. Now I'm out of here. I appreciate y'all. Yes, he went to Verb. He went to the Verb, one of the first basketball teams at the Verb. Had some ball players from the neighborhood, and they went on to win, I believe, 3 state championships. So the recruiters came. He ended up at Cal State LA. After Long Beach State gave him a car, he still used the car that Cal State LA gave him, which was a red Corvette. Can't blame him. All right, y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all next time. I may see. Peace and blessings. One. Yeah, Miss Matthew. Bird. Yeah, you never like the Sixers. Night, y'all. Peace out. It's a real sad story, Mike. But it needed to be told. I believe it was produced by Baron Davis. Good job, B.